All right, so this is the box, my electrical box that I made to fit all this stuff in here. And initially it was just metal, but so I got some cork, some sticky sided cork, and lined it with that just in case, you know, any wires moved around and touched some metal. So put that cork in there. So what I got to do here is get all this put in here. I put this in here before, and it all fits pretty good. So let me pull this off of here so I can get my wires. And like I said before, where's this thing? I want to just keep the video rolling so you can see me work on this stuff, so I'm not cutting it and you just like all of a sudden see, oh, it's all done. I want to show you the hard part, you know, the hard part of getting all this stuff in here and figuring it out. So this is where I'm at, and I'm going to try to make these videos short, not too long. So this is the important part that I get this mounted, and I've got my this right here, I believe goes to like the stator, and this hooks up to the to this side here, and this is my positive side. So I've got to, it's just got enough line right here to reach. So somehow, and the hard part is when I got this in here, it's got this little boot on it, and it's really hard to get out of the way once it's in here. So what I think I'll do is snip that line that I got zip tied there, and get myself some room so I can move that boot. So like I said, I'm new to all this. I don't know how to wire things very well, but I mark things as I'm taking it apart, and you know, learning as I go. So let me pull this out of here. So this is the boot I'm talking about. Once it's in there, it's not really easy to move around and get on. And also I got to get you know, when you're doing this, you got to make sure you mark all this stuff. You know, when I did this, I marked this as positive because, you know, I've never taken this apart before and I don't have another reference to show. I guess I could look at my wire diagram and stuff like that, but, or the manual, and show which is positive or how this goes. But it's just easy to mark it, so I know that this is my positive, which will be, I have to hook something else up to it. What is it? Oh yeah. I gotta hook this main fuse up to it. See, I marked that battery solenoid, so this is gonna go on here also with the positive cable that goes to the battery. So I'll have to get that hooked up also before I tuck everything in there. But for now, my main thing is to get this, I believe it's hooked up to the stator. And you know, it's like the charging system that this goes down to the engine. So let me set this here. And these guys, this is old, but it's looks like it's almost wanting to strip. So I'm hoping this stuff is going to tighten back up really good. And so now I've got to get all this stuff out of the way. See, this is all, you know, this stuff takes time, man. I mean, it's like I sit in here for hours trying to figure this stuff out. So I got plenty of room there. But the problem, so this has to hook around, so I gotta make sure that I twist this. Oh, it's twisted the wrong way, so I think that would be good, like that. Oh, wait a minute. So It's been a minute since I messed with this stuff, so I kind of try to figure out how this all goes together. So I know that it's sitting in there like that, and this has got to connect on like, well, it wants to go like this and hook to the bottom. Let's see here. I think that's the proper way to do it, but so it kind of hooks like this, I believe. And it kind of hooks on the bottom there and keeps that from moving. But that puts me, well, I guess that would work. Yeah, let's do that. So, twisted right, that's twisted right, okay. And I bet that I'm gonna have to take this back off. You watch it, you watch me. I'll probably have to do that. So this little guy here is gonna go in nice and tight and hook to the bottom, and that keeps it kind of where it wants to be. So this is the first one to put on, and I gotta make sure that this is nice and firm in here and get some more breathing room. I really appreciate you guys watching this. I've watched a lot of Rebel builds and stuff like that before I got into this, and that's what, you know, watching YouTube videos, watching people build these things is what got me hooked on doing this. I ended up buying a couple bikes, and here I am now, you know, months later, after watching months of YouTube videos and different builds. There are so many cool Rebels out there, and if you're watching this, you probably either have a Rebel or interested in Rebels. You know, I love them. I think they're great bikes. They're super inexpensive to work on compared to the alternative, like a Harley or something. And it just fits me. In my other video, I said I was 250 pounds. I'm 150 pounds. The bike's a 250. So I don't know if you had watched my previous video before this, kind of explaining what I was doing. But that's it. I'm only 150. A 250 pound person on one of these little bikes that's a little much. So I'm just real hesitant on tightening this real tight because it looks like these threads are cross-threaded, but worst comes to worst, I'll have to get a new one of these. And I have another one off the 86, but it's not as in good shape as this one is. This is the original starter solenoid that came off of this bike. So I'm just like real hesitant. I've got a lock washer on here, so I don't have to crank it down too much, but I feel like that's pretty tight enough. Ugh. Maybe a little tight. Okay. Oh, geez. Okay, so that should be in the right spot. So let me get this little boot on here. Whichever way it goes, I guess it goes this way. And it's important that you get these boots on here because of the fact that, you know, you don't want metal touching metal. And this is the original boot that covered this, so luckily I didn't rip it or break it, and it kind of fits on here good. Oop, it looks kind of funky. I don't know what's going on with my monkey. I'm hoping that this is on there correct, but it looks like it doesn't want to go on there. Perfect. So it's nice on the bottom there, but somehow I gotta get it like this. And I got a really bum finger or thumb, from construction work all my life. So my thumb doesn't work very good anymore. I gotta get a shot, steroid shot in there to, and this has gotta go on there, right? So this is the part where I just don't know. Maybe if it, see, it wants to go perfect like that, but then once I bend it, because when it was mounted over there, this thing was probably bent up perfect. But I need it to be like so. So let's just see how this is gonna work. I don't even know if it's gonna work like that. You see what I mean? I think I might have an issue here. And this is what I mean. If you guys aren't into watching someone do this and like fumble around and try to figure it out, then maybe these videos aren't for you. But this is the real thing, you know, someone trying to figure this stuff out. So if you're like me, this is what I like to watch on YouTube. It's just people working on things and trying to figure stuff out. But I know that this has got to sit tight, you know, and then I don't have a lot of room, so this cannot be like that. So what is my alternative here? See, now I can't even get this out of here. So now, perfect example of me taking things back on and off. I should have done that before, but I didn't. So in my last video, I said that, you know, one of the funny things are that I take things on and off constantly, you know. And if you're working on these bikes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just on and off. So that's what I was saying, like behind the scenes, they don't show you how many times they took something on and off or that. And, you know, that's what takes so long to build these bikes, is that you got to do this kind of stuff. So I'm thinking, I just thought, you know, maybe I'll just pause this video a couple times while I'm doing it. Okay, so see how the boot fits on here really well like this, you know? I mean, that's how you want the boot. My problem is my starter relay, the way that I have this, because, you know, I got lots of wire here, right? But by the time I tuck this out of the way, my wire only gets to here. Now, I guess I could splice this wire or get a longer one, but I don't want to do that. I want to work with what I got. So, that's the seat. So it sits like that. Let me see here. So it's got to be like this, right? So how can I fit that in there? Right there is too much. Unless I bend this, if I put it like that and bend this straight, I don't even think that's enough. Let's see. That goes on top. See, that won't even fit under there. So if I'm doing that, you can see where that has to be. Okay, so if I'm like this, and this is like this, that bends, if I could bend that straight down, but it's not supposed to be bent straight down, that boot will probably mess up, so it wants to be like this. So if I go like that and bend this down, I might be able to get that in there. Maybe. So if I bend that down, if I bend that straight, right? Let's just see here. Let's just play with it. me like that. I would love to be like this, but el no worko like that. Although, if I cut this right here, you know, this little hook right here is the one that's giving me the heck. And, you know, like I was saying, it wants to be like this, so it locks it in there, but doesn't need to be. So if it is like that, and it's coming around like that, that is not happy. That's not the happy spot. But if I cut this little lever off, I could probably turn it like that, and it just might work if this makes a decent enough loop. But see, then it takes up a lot of space in here. So this is basically, it needs to stay like that. And then if I bent that straight, will it work? I guess it would. I'm so hesitant on cutting things before thinking about it a lot. But I know if that tucks up there and that bends straight, I would be able to put it on there. So that's what I think I'll do, is cut this little piece off and straighten this tab. Well, hold on. I won't have to straighten the tab if it's already like that. Well, let's just see. See? I thought about it for a second more. And if I just do this, let's see how far off that'll go. Yeah, it won't touch anything, I think. But this rubber boot is busting my chops. Okay, there we go. So get this out of my way. I get that out of my way, you see? Okay, so it does fit like that. Pretty darn good. I mean, that's where it would go. It's pretty close to this positive side though. You see what I'm saying? So I think I do want to, so it's gonna go like that. I do want to cut that off, because that is way too close to that positive. Easiest way to cut that off would be to grind it, I guess. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is pause the video. Okay, so I figured out I can pause the video instead of stopping it, because when I stop it, it shuts the whole video off. So I've got, instead of grinding it, I'm going to try and bend it. The old bend and weak trick. Okay. Looks like I was successful. Let's see what we got. Okay, so I nipped it off, but I think it's still kind of long. Yeah, it's still a little long. It'd be nice if I can get that bent right around there, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I think I will grind grind that a little tighter. But I can't do that right now because it's still early in the morning, and my neighbors would not like me firing up my grinder at this time. So what I can do is see kind of where everything else is going to land. So I know that I'm going to be mounting this here. Tuck it in as tight as I can. Luckily this fits pretty darn good there. And I think I'll be able to get my positive stuff on here because it's just like a round eyelet, I guess you call it. And so is that one. So let's just see how this one would go. So I guess I can put that one on there. I don't want to take that tape off because then I'll forget. How about I just do this? I can get tricky and mark this positive. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Shot in the dark. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put a positive here, positive here in case something wears off. Maybe another positive back here, and another positive right here, just in case. Just in case that rubber boot wears off, you know, wears it off there. So let's see. I'm gonna take the tape off. I think I got this videoed so I can go back and watch it. So here's my positive side. Oh, one of these was messed up. Yeah, it's all bent and shit. So hopefully this will go all back together good. So if I put this on here like a so, how about if I did it like this, like a so? So it's gonna be right there. My positive cable will go on that. Okay, so I mean, that's not the best of situations, but I think that would work. I could probably tuck all that in there. So that'll go there. My battery will also follow that. I'm just gonna, you know, well, I can't get it all together. So let's just pretend that that goes there for now. Let me screw this back on. And you know what? I'll even put my positive cable on there. I don't know what the heck I did with it, but let me see if I can find my positive battery cable. Here it is. And it's a long one too. I got a lot of extra line. I mean, my battery's only going to be right here, so I'll have to tuck the rest of that out of there. So I got another boot that will cover that. So let me see how this boot is going to play out. But you can see that this is an eyelet, so that's what's cool about this one is it's got, you know, an eye on it. I hope I'm talking loud enough. So this will be here. Can't go that way. And let's see what this boot does here. I kind of want to keep these boots on here, you know what I mean? So the boot, das Boot is going like a so. You know, once that's on there, that would be sweet to keep that like that. But let me see. The the problem is I can't tuck it back too far with that on there. So let's just see, that's where that's gonna go. And then get that on there. So it's gonna be like that, you know what I mean? Okay, so we'll go like that, right? And like I said, these videos are gonna be like this. I know that, well, you know, that's not too bad. I think that might just work. If I can get that on there. So what I was saying is, you know, I know these videos are going to be long and monotonous, but this is the real McCoy, man. This is what it takes to build these things and get things figured out. So if that goes on there tight, I don't have a lot of wiggle room. And that boot just doesn't want to play. I mean, do I need the boots on there? Because this is going to be locked down, there's really nothing's going to touch it. So, scratch my ear with a greasy finger. Let's just do this. Let's just get this boot way off of here, out of the way. And if we can use the boots, we'll use the boots. But if not, the boots will go. Das Boot will go. All right. But to me, this is fun. This is the fun part is, I don't know if you can see my face or not, but is messing with this stuff, you know, trying to figure it out. And that's the fun part for me. This is the real in the garage, grinding it out type of thing. And that's, again, I know I'm repeating myself quite a bit, but what if I just use this side? Oh, you know what? I'm a dork. This is the battery side, dude. This goes on the battery. Fucking, see? Sometimes I'm all over the place. This goes over the battery and that goes to the battery and covers that. So, and it sits on the battery like, where's my battery? I think, no, it doesn't. Anyways, let's just get this out of the way. And so a lot of times I'm just in here learning, you know, putting things together, trying to figure stuff out the best that I can. And actually, let's just take this all the way off and see what happens. It's kind of cool because this is red and I'd like to keep this on the positive cable, but well, for now. So this is going like this, right? This is my positive side, right. So that cable does fit like that pretty good. So if I fed it through here, hooked it on this side here. Okay, so that's on there tight. If I can get that like that, that's not bad. And this is cork, so it's not going to ground out. So that's not bad. And then this, there's another line, right? I got one more line. Where's my line? Where is that thing? Oh, here it is. So, this is my fuse. I don't really want anything up high like that. So what if I turned it down like that? It's kind of long, but it does fit. So that's my positive side. I know that when I grind that other one and put that on there, it'll pull that tight. So this might just work. It might just work. In fact, wait a minute. I can't have anything right there. So it has to be like right there. And this other one's long enough to go here and grab there. It doesn't look like all this is gonna fit, but it will fit in there. So I'm gonna stop this video right here because I have some things to do. And then, so this is gonna, I'm just gonna put the first one on there, the second one on there, then I'll just keep adding them on there. So if you guys are still around and sticking with me, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, because it really helps. I know everybody tells you that, and you know probably why it helps. But it helps the algorithm get out, because I started a new channel, and the only way that it's going to get out there for other people like yourself that want to watch it, the only way it's going to get out there is if you subscribe to it. And that tells the algorithm to, you know, people are interested in it and blah, blah, blah. So, all right, I'm gonna end this now, and then I'll come back and we'll keep going. All right, thanks a lot.